Like the history of basketball? Then you may enjoy my new young adult novel, Echoes of the Hardwood, Braxton Foxworthy's time-traveling book report. Available for pre-order now. Release date is January 26, 2026. Link in this YouTube channel, available on Amazon.
Welcome back to Boston, where the Celtics are 31-4 at home as we check out the starting lineups for the Bulls. John Paxson and Michael Jordan in the backcourt. Horace Grant, Scottie Pippen up front. And the center is Bill Cartwright. The Bulls coached by Phil Jackson. Strong candidate for NBA Coach of the Year honors, as is Chris Ford of the Boston Celtics, who line up with Brian Shaw and Reggie Lewis, who was a question mark because of that back injury, but we'll give it a shot. Larry Bird and Kevin Gamble are the front court players. Robert Parrish at center. And Chris Ford, the coach of the Celtics in his rookie year of coaching in the NBA, says at times he hasn't been very happy with his ball club's shot selection, although he told us that it has been better recently.
Typical of a coach, even though the season's going fairly well by most people's standards, you're going to find something wrong so they don't become complacent.
The Chicago Bulls on track to having the best record in their club history. They have won their division only once. That was back in 74-75, a team of Jerry Sloan and Norm Van Leer and Bob Love, Chet Walker, Tom Burwinkle. However, their success will be measured by only one standard, that is making it out of the Eastern Conference to the NBA Final. They have been knocked out of it the past 2 years by Detroit. The officials, Mike Mathis, Joe Forte, and Ed Rush, and Brian Shaw controls for the Celtics. Boston Friday night here at home beat Cleveland to clinch the Atlantic Division crown. They had some problems with the Cavs, despite the fact Brad Daugherty was out of action. And Kevin Gamble, who has not been getting his shots, according to Chris Ford, is able to give Boston a 2-0 lead.
And speculation on why the shots haven't come his way. One reason being, Don Casey, the assistant, mentioned, we just haven't been running as much, therefore not getting as many open shots in transition.
An open jumper for Jordan. Boston shooting has been off. They lead the NBA at 52% from the field. Bird going to the left hand, rebounded by Pippen. Scottie Pippen off the hesitation dribble, and Parrish controls the ball. Shaw able to elude Paxson.
Excellent penetration that time. The wings actually pushed out defensively for Chicago, opened the lane to the basket. He kept his dribble alive, made the hoop.
Boston starting out with Reggie Lewis against Michael Jordan. Parrish getting the box out on Cartwright. Jordan has had a number of big games against Lewis, and Lewis has also turned the trick on Jordan. Gamble opening up by hitting his first two, and Boston out to a 6-2 lead.
People misinterpret the fact that he's shooting over 59%, think they're all layups. This guy knocks out open jump shots.
And usually takes good shots. Cartwright hit on a reach-in by Parrish. We're talking with Parrish yesterday about the matchup with Bill Cartwright, and he says he has to jump out on Cartwright early, try to push him around, get physical.
Yeah, he felt being physical was very important because that's one of the things Cartwright does, as Paxson knocks out a jumper, having a terrific year shooting the basketball from the floor right now.
Yes, he's at 55% from the field. Boston with a 6-4 lead. Lewis using the pick. Chicago Bulls lead the Central Division by 9 games over Detroit. Friday night, they beat the Bullets in Landover, 112-94. They've won 11 of the last 13. And a hot shooting start by both teams. Horace Grant, who's having a superb season, able to hit his first, and the game tied at 6.
You have two teams who make a lot of open shots, basically because they take good ones.
Bird gets it back out. Here's Shaw. Paxson and Jordan at the guards. Cartwright, Pippen, and Grant up front. We're just underway at the Boston Garden. try to go cross court, and the foul is called. He's annoyed with himself. He wanted the call in the act and instead passed it off, so it is a non-shooting foul.
Keep in mind, as you watch the Bulls offense, when the ball goes into the center spot, Bill Cartwright in this case, he basically starts out as a passer, feeder first, then scorer afterwards.
Here's Jordan. And Grant stopped. Knocked out of bounds. It will be Chicago ball with 14 on the 24.
Good job by the Celtics closing off that lane area, the paint area. Once Jordan gets down low, they're coming after him, just kind of seal off that area with a lot of white shirts.
Now Pippen off the double team. Scottie Pippen giving the Bulls an 8-6 lead. I was talking about this on Showtime with Pat Riley. Got into a brief discussion about the so-called mystique here in Boston as Robert Parrish ties the game at 8. Very quiet crowd here at Boston Garden this season. They'll get into it in spurts. And they're quiet here at the start.
Part of the reason may be that the Celtics no longer shoot nearly as many three-point attempts as they used to. The transition game not quite the same as in past years, or the glory years, as we say.
Reggie Lewis with his first bucket, and the Celtics have a 10-8 lead.
There would be nothing like Ainge, Bird knocking out those three-pointers to excite this crowd along with the fast break baskets.
Cartwright. Yes, and it counts. Bill Cartwright was being pushed off the blocks, but able to hit. Reggie Lewis trying to help out and was called for the foul.
Cartwright hasn't been so much a big scorer for this team as he has been a factor, the physical presence against the centers such as the Dohertys and the Ewings and the Parishes, Moses Malone. But now going to him a little bit in the beginning, perhaps could try and attack Robert Parrish at this end of the floor.
Bulls by 1. Light pressure by Chicago. Gamble able to get it across, met by Pippen.
One of the things the Celtics worked on yesterday in practice, attacking the full court pressure that they expected from the Bulls today.
Although Phil Jackson says he does not like to use it early in games, we saw light pressure a moment ago. Cartwright on the foul. He said he'd rather save it for the end of games so teams don't adjust to it.
Yeah, that was his man-to-man full court pressure, and you said it, light pressure. In the end, he'll go to the quick double team step-up rotation looking for steals.
Here's Bird. And rebounded by Jordan. Larry Bird has been struggling, looking to pull out of a slump that has affected him throughout the month of March. Jordan had it deflected. The block by Lewis. Bad pass, and the Bulls get it right back. They have the numbers. Paxson open. Yes.
I spoke with Paxson and Craig Hodges before the game today. I said, you guys are knocking out. He said, hey, when you're standing by yourself, so much of the time it's easy to make open shots. That's our job, he said.
Here's Gamble. He got the step. And the Bulls again look to run. Celtics able to get back. Jordan. Cartwright. Here's Bird. So Larry Bird with his first field goal after missing his first 2 attempts.
Chris Ford mentioned a good sign is when Bird gets rid of the shot quickly. That time in transition, a quick catch and shoot.
Pippen. Oh, spectacular move by Scottie Pippen. Bulls lead it 15-12. Robert Parrish trims it to a 1-point Chicago lead. Here's Jordan. Grant. And the Bulls lead it 17-14. Just under 6 minutes to go in this opening quarter.
One of the statistical categories that the Bulls have dropped is offensive rebounding, but it's because they're making so many of their first shot attempts.
Paxson played Lewis well as Lewis tried to use the height advantage. 2-on-1. Pippen from Jordan. And the Bulls now lead 19-14.
And Jordan got the ball out of his hands without putting it back on the floor. Gamble anticipated he might have a little bit of time. Tried to buy a little bit with a fake. Instead, the ball's being laid in the basket.
Chris Ford calling for the timeout. 5:29 remaining in this first quarter. We'll be back in Boston in a moment. Well, this Thursday night, the Celtics played in Miami. In fact, they blew a 17-point lead and lost to the Heat. And prior to the game, there was an arranged meeting between two of the great athletes in the history of the state of Indiana. Don Mattingly of the Yankees has been a longtime fan of Larry Bird, and they finally got together. They had never met. The major bond between these two athletes, aside from success, as you look at Larry's struggles the last 5 games, the major bond, the work ethic, and the fact that both, unfortunately, have been bothered by back problems.
A mutual respect by two of the great ones in their respective games.
Prior to the game, Evansville's Don Mattingly met Larry Bird out of French Lick, Indiana, for the first time. Bird was told that Mattingly was excited about this upcoming meeting. Bird smiled and said he should be. A lot of people are excited to see me. Very nicely handled by Larry, I think, was kidding. Gamble called on the foul. 5:05 to go in this first quarter. And the Bulls by a 19-14 lead. Grant to the line. The Bulls have won 2 of 3 against Boston this season, and the Bulls won both in blowouts. Here in November by 20, Michael Jordan had a 41-point outing against the Celtics, and in Chicago in February, the Bulls beat the Celtics by 30. The Celtics won in Chicago back in November by 2 on a buzzer beater by Brian Shaw. 6-point lead for the Bulls. Quiet start for Michael Jordan. Only 1 for 4 for 2 points. Here's Bird.
Oh, nice move by Larry Bird off the dribble, and a good sign, I think, for the Celtics. The fact that he's putting on the floor, trying to go by people. He must feel pretty good today.
Pippen over Gamble. Yes. Scottie Pippen had some difficulties playing on the road for the most part earlier in the season, but he has been breaking out away from Chicago recently. Bird again. He appears to have the rhythm.
And you can see the ball coming out of his hand today. It has that real good rotation that Bird gets when he's shooting well.
4-point Chicago lead. Celtics doing a nice job on Jordan, and he turns it over.
What they're doing is they're dropping off the perimeter people right now, not really attacking or double teaming Jordan, just kind of going back halfway. When he puts it on the floor, then they start to run at him.
Bird worked off the pick. Goes to the left hand. He thought he was pushed. Larry Bird staring at the official, Joe Forte. Here's Jordan. They have carried it.
Oh!
And the foul call.
Very, very few players can get in the air like Michael Jordan, be looking in one direction, understanding that's where he wants to pass off to his right, and then at the last minute when he notices the guy on the right isn't there, realize that, you know what, there's somebody else over on the left. He wants to go right, but instead, at the last second, that's hang time.
Foul called on Bird. Grant only a 69% free throw shooter. He's 2 for 3 from the line. Horace Grant, Bulls' best overall rebounder. He is the pride and joy of the Chicago Bulls' strength and conditioning coach Al Vermeil. Horace has given himself a new upper body this season.
I've tried to give myself a new body. Nothing works.
Lewis, and he's hit from behind. Michael Jordan agreeing with the call.
And Michael Jordan, one of the best in the league at going behind a player's head and swiping the basketball. One of the little rules we used to put in Atlanta was to take Jordan and always get him out of the area where the basketball was, or else he'd always drive your big guys crazy, stealing the ball from behind their head.
And you fellows in Atlanta did have some success against Jordan. As I recall, you try to go at him in a physical way.
Well, one of the things we tried to make him do was at the defensive end of the floor for the Bulls, make Jordan work at chasing our shooters. At that time, Randy Whitman off a number of screens. And we had guys like Tree Rollins, Kevin Willis, Wilkins that were going after headhunting, trying to set solid screens. Make them work at the other end.
Mike McGee was a man who played Jordan for the Atlanta Hawks, and I know as Paxson hits again. Paxson on fire, 3 out of 4, and a 6-point Chicago lead. Jordan was not thrilled at the sight of McGee, who did play him very physical.
Mike McGee was very strong, very physical. He would chase you all over the floor, work real hard, and was relentless, not worrying about his fouls, knowing his minutes were going to be limited.
And Bird came up short. Here comes Pippen. Bulls doing it off the boards in second chance opportunities. And again, Jordan turns it over. An erratic start for Michael Jordan with 2:42 to go in this first quarter.
You'll notice that Boston's trying to force Michael Jordan to the middle of the floor. They don't want him to go baseline. As they play a little pick and roll or two-man basketball, what's happening is on the other side of the floor, they form a triangle opposite. These spots are supposed to be occupied for the open shooters. What happens? Pippen breaks his spot. Jordan anticipates he's going to be in the corner, the resulting turnover.
It is a 6-point lead for the Chicago Bulls. Michael Jordan with only 2 out of the 26 points for Chicago. 2:42 to go in this first quarter. Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, Ahmad Rashad, and Pat Riley on hand. Pat, incidentally, at halftime will be talking with Charles Barkley, a man very much in the news these days.
Charles is honest. One thing he is, he's honest.
Yes, he does say what's on his mind, which can be good and bad. And Larry Bird with 8 points, 4 out of 8 from the field. 4-point Chicago lead. Both clubs remaining the same following that timeout. Here's Jordan. Well, Michael Jordan now 1 for 5 from the field, and he's settling for jump shots.
One of the things that as the guy playing Jordan, you would hope he does all night. Just stay out there, keep shooting jumpers.
Just under 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Lewis attempting to post up Jordan. Here's Shaw over Paxson. His second field goal. He has 4. 26-24 Chicago. Paxson working off the pick, and Bird gets to the rebound. Here's Gamble for Shaw. Parrish setting the pick up high. Cartwright able to jump out, and it led to the steal by Paxson. Alley-oop, overthrown. Pippen on the save, but he stepped out and got a couple of photographers in the process.
The lob pass just wasn't in a situation or a position whereby he could catch and get a shot off at the same time. The angle just wasn't right that time for Pippen.
One minute to go, first quarter. Bird with the step and hit from behind. Larry Bird will go to the line. Grant called for the foul. That's his first.
Bird has showed us 2 strong moves off the dribble to the basket. He knows he's got the player on his back, just kind of pulls up short, stops, and he knows he's pretty good from the foul line, by the way.
Although he's missed a couple of the last 2 games, including an important shot against Miami on Thursday night.
Well, he is shooting slightly over 88%.
Boston, in uncharacteristic fashion, has had difficulties at the foul line. They're still number 1 in the NBA, 83%. On Friday night, they missed 7 against Cleveland. They were 14 for 21 from the line. Here's Jordan going left and rejected by Lewis.
That's interesting. A guy gets his shot blocked and gets an ovation from the crowd. It's like never supposed to happen to Michael Jordan.
Parrish unleashes. And it will be Chicago ball.
You're not talking about a guy who's real small and doesn't have long arms and good athleticism here. Lewis, around 6'7", can extend, get up, and actually Jordan was shooting that one on the way down. A little pump in there.
B.J. Armstrong, who has played very well, giving the Bulls a lift off the bench, has replaced John Paxson. Here's Jordan. Michael Jordan with only his second field goal. The Bulls take a 2-point lead, and we are down to 10 seconds left, first quarter. 5 seconds. Lewis. Yes. Just did beat the buzzer. Reggie Lewis throws it home, and the game is tied at 28. After one, here in Boston, the Bulls and the Celtics at 28 apiece. We'll be back after these messages.
The Philadelphia 76ers, the Chicago Bulls. Sir Charles meets the Lord of the Air. The NBA on NBC. Come fly with us.
Easter Sunday in Boston, and the Chicago Bulls and the Boston Celtics tied at 28 as we head to the second quarter. Good start for Larry Bird offensively. He has 10 points and also doing it at the defensive end.
Not only is he shooting the ball well, but a good sign is whenever you see someone come up, set a back pick, and have his player try and fight over on a little shuffle cut there, the defensive man has to work hard. Bird playing Grant, gets back pick right there, fights over it, stays with them all the way, and plays post defense down low. When Bird is working hard at the defensive end, that's a real good sign for the Celtics.
Larry Bird sitting down, and the crowd reacting to the return of Kevin McHale. He's missed the last 6 games with a sprained left ankle. He's had all kinds of ankle problems. So Kevin McHale gets a rousing ovation. The rookie D. Brown has checked in for the first time. Here's Pippen, and he's turned back by McHale. Brown was looking for Gamble, but the Bulls able to recover.
Just one of the things that McHale gives this team besides scoring down low, the post-up game, is block shots.
And McHale draws the foul.
McHale is 8th in the NBA in block shots, averaging almost 2.5 a game. Those long arms, you think you're going to be able to get it over the top, but he gets up and extends so quickly.
Foul charge to Scottie Pippen, his first. Well, the Celtics have hit their first 4 from the line, trying to bounce back. And Kevin McHale, usually a solid free throw shooter, not able to hit on his first. We were chatting with Chris Ford about the foul shooting difficulty yesterday at practice, and asked if he'd talk about it. He said no, because it just gives the guys even more negative ideas. So he hopes it's just a matter of concentration, because he knows this is a very fine free throw shooting ball club.
If you understand what your team is all about, as Grant faces up and misses a shot, you know that eventually they're going to return to what is the norm for them. This team is #1 in the league. They'll get back making them.
McHale, and Gamble gets to it. Will Perdue has checked in for the first time, replacing Bill Cartwright, so he is now matched with Robert Parrish. Lewis trying to post up Craig Hodges, who just came on. Gamble. Pippen did not go for the pump fake. Here's Brown. Yes. And Boston leads by 3. Let's go over to Ahmad.
All right, Marv, during that last time out, Chris Ford said he wants to keep offensively, keep pushing the ball up, and defensively, every time Michael Jordan puts the ball on the ground, they want to try to double it.
And they have done a nice job against Michael Jordan, who is getting a rest. B.J. Armstrong able to connect on his first field goal attempt. Celtics lead 31-30 with 1.5 minutes gone by in the second. Both clubs shot well in the first quarter, over 50%. Grant on the box out. Hodges and Armstrong in the backcourt. Grant up front with Pippen and Perdue. Loose ball foul, and it's against the Celtics.
Kevin McHale down low in the post-up area. Big target, gets the inside position, and now on the shot, maybe doesn't quite have the spring he normally has. He's been off for a while, plus he has the brace on his ankle, but he's so big and long, he's still going to come up with his share.
Parrish sitting down, and the crowd reacts to Ed Pinckney, who has played exceptionally well as of late. Wild pass, misfired by Armstrong. Here's Gamble. Well, the Celtics cashing in on the turnover.
Some of those easy scores, transition baskets, which the Celtics have not been getting. And Bird's point was, our defense has been pretty good. It's the fact we're not scoring, just making shots. That certainly helps you right there.
Boston by 3. Armstrong gets it back out. Here's Hodges from three-point land. And Brown finds Gamble. Celtics with their biggest lead of the game. It's 35-30 with 3 minutes gone by in the second.
Here's the answer to your question before. The crowd is back when they get a couple of easy scores, long touchdown passes, as I call it. That gets them excited.
Celtics in the midst of a 15-4 run. Pippen was blocked. He will go to the foul line.
When you drive in the lane and see those big white shirts coming at you, you have a tendency to want to give it up. Obviously, a very simple pass is all the coach needs. Otherwise, problems. And when the shooter's defensive player runs out, you're going to get some of these long passes down the floor.
It is a 5-point lead for the Boston Celtics, and this capacity crowd a moment ago reacting to the return of Kevin McHale, who has been sitting out with a sprained left ankle. Missed the last 6 games because of the ankle. He had missed 8 games, then returned, played in 9 straight, but he was laboring and decided to sit out once again. 33-year-old Kevin McHale in his 11th year out of the University of Minnesota. Let's get back to Ahmad.
All right, Marv, I talked with Kevin before the game. This brace that he is wearing is something that keeps his ankle stable. It can't move to the left or the right. His injury is such that it's not going to get better, so he's just going to have to go ahead and play on it. He figures it'll be better sometime in September, but that's not going to help him for now.
All right, Ahmad, Scottie Pippen at the free throw line. He was sent to the line on the foul committed by Kevin Gamble. And now here is some pressure by the Bulls. Steve Brown took the hit from B.J. Armstrong.
Still not the full court trapping press that Chicago uses occasionally after free throws. This one, full court, man-to-man pickup, put a little pressure and help out with that big guy that took it out of bounds initially.
Brown and Lewis at the guards. Pinckney with Gamble and McHale up front. McHale being guarded by Grant. Lewis trying to post up. And Gamble is wide open. Pinckney off the board. Ed Pinckney on Friday night against Cleveland had one of his best games as a pro. 7 for 7, 19 points, 14 rebounds, and the crowd chanting Eddie, Eddie right throughout. Will Perdue cuts it to a 3-point Celtic lead.
Pinckney said he got into one of those games where when he was above the rim, he seemed like he was the only one there. It was easy, he said that night.
Lewis. McHale missed the tip, and Perdue gets to it. Hodges try to spot up for the 3. Pippen is fouled. He was hacked. Fouled by Pinckney.
Eddie Pinckney sees the pick and roll, switches out, just gets out there a little bit too late. Pippen turns the corner.
Ed Pinckney just recently celebrated his 28th birthday, and he's been going so well recently. He said he always plays well around his birthday, and that would include the Villanova upset win over Georgetown for the national championship.
Maybe they should just lie to him and tell him it's his birthday every week.
Scottie Pippen is high man. He now has 12 points, and Boston has a 37-36 lead. Brian Shaw is back, so it is Shaw and Brown at the guards. Pinckney with McHale and Gamble up front. McHale and Purdue able to get to it. Crowd looking for a goaltend. Armstrong with Brown falling down. P.J. Armstrong going glass to give the Bulls a 1-point lead.
Armstrong really can knock out open shots, shooting 50% from the floor, almost 52 from the three-point line as D. Brown knocks down a long J.
P.J. Armstrong telling us yesterday he really got a kick out of playing here at the Boston Garden on the parquet floor for the first time a year ago as a rookie. Said it looks real nice on television, but it's not one of his favorite places to play. Never know. We were talking about dead spots, kidding him out earlier, but he never knew what would happen when he put the dribble on the floor. You really have to learn the floor, similar to the old floor at Madison Square Garden.
You see many of the veteran guards come out before the game and just kind of go up and down with the basketball to see how everything feels that particular game night or game afternoon.
Boston with a 1-point lead. McHale. Kevin McHale with his first field goal. Celtics 41 and Chicago 38.
If you're going to double McHale, you have to get him a little bit quicker. Otherwise, he's going to split the double team or just shoot over the top of a smaller Grant.
Well, Purdue taking a couple of steps and then lost it. Got away with a travel. And a timeout being taken. 6:28 remaining in the second quarter, and it's Boston by 3. We'll be back at the Boston Garden in a moment.
Miller, #1 draft choices.
And today's Miller #1 draft pick, Robert Parrish. He was selected 8th overall in 1976 by Golden State. In 1980, Parrish traded to Boston along with a pick that would become Kevin McHale, perhaps the most lopsided trade in NBA history. Robert Parrish, man who has enjoyed an illustrious 15-year NBA career. A reminder, at the end of today's broadcast, we'll be selecting the Miller Genuine Draft Player of the Game. Next Saturday on NBC, another edition of NBA Inside Stuff. You'll see the Philadelphia 76ers play Family Feud, plus the latest scores, news, and highlights with Ahmad Rashad and Julie Moran. NBA Inside Stuff next Saturday. Check your local listings for the NBC station in your area. 6:25 remaining in the first half. Boston 41, Chicago 38. Brian Shaw, D. Brown at the guards, Kevin McHale, Kevin Gamble, Ed Pinckney up front, and the outside official Mike Mathis calling offensive foul, indicating a elbow flashed by McHale.
Kevin McHale doesn't believe it. We'll take a look. Livingston, who is much smaller than Kevin McHale, he'll fight him. He'll try and keep his body up against him and move him out of that low post area. But there's the hold, he says, right there. McHale with the right arm holding Livingston.
Michael Jordan returning and throwing a brick. He is 2 for 8. Has not been able to get into it to this point. McHale able to recover. And on the way to recovery, he had some words with the official. He thought he was fouled. Here's Gamble. Cartwright on the rebound. Cartwright back for Purdue. 2 Celtics back. Jordan going right at them. Yes, and it counts.
Nightmare for a defender. Michael Jordan coming at you one-on-one, off the dribble, in transition, live. Catches you back on your heels. Here he comes, fake right, go left. One dribble, concentration, possibility for a three-point play. Kevin McHale doesn't quite agree.
Yes, Kevin has continued the conversation at both ends. Kevin Gamble called for that foul. He has 3. He will sit down. Parrish and Bird return. Jordan to the line for the first time. Players around the NBA tell me they do not want to be as they say, posterized. Always a fear in defending against Michael Jordan. That'll make a spectacular move that will be captured by a photographer that will end up on a Jordan poster for posterity. That might have been a posterized move a moment ago. Dee Brown gives Boston a 43-41 lead. 5:10 remaining first half. I think Armstrong surprised to find himself so open.
Came down the floor. Nobody was playing him. At first he said, no, this can't be right. And they said, well, I'm open. I'll just shoot it.
Game is tied at 43. Now Bird going to work on Cliff Livingston, who just checked in and made it look very easy.
When Livingston played for the Atlanta Hawks, we would have problems with Cliff on the floor against the Boston team. Whether he played Bird or McHale or Parrish for some reason on a switch-off, they would immediately post Cliff. I felt you always needed 2 of your 7-footers on the floor against them.
Why would he have problems against the Celtics?
Well, with Wilkins, who played the small forward spot, it made Livingston the big forward, power forward, and there's just too much size in favor of the Celtics against him.
Gorgeous move by Brown, but not able to hit. Bulls with the numbers. Armstrong with a hesitation dribble that might have been a walk. Got away with it. Wild flurry, and it leads to a foul called on Dee Brown.
What Cliff Livingston does for this team is he gives them an active body out there. In short spurts, he'll keep balls alive on the glass, help them offensive rebound. He'll defend for them, fight you up and down the floor. He's just one of those pieces that you need to be an excellent all-around team. He chased down this loose ball, gets the opportunity now to go to the free throw line.
On the line with Boston over the foul limit. Livingston only a 62% free throw shooter. Chicago Bulls with a record of 53-17. That is the best record in the NBA. They've won 11 of the last 13. They've taken 2 of 3 against the Celtics this season, and both victories in blowout fashion. Game is tied at 45. Brown attempting to put the move on Armstrong, kicked it out. Chicago trying to catch the Celtics napping. Hodges from downtown. And here comes Shaw. Brown on the wing. Well, Cartwright started to challenge and then held back.
Larry Bird started to complain at the other end of the floor that he was pushed on the rebound. Then he turned around and realized it was his teammate who had shoved him out of the way to get the ball.
Boston 47 and Chicago 45. Out of 4 on the 24. Jordan. And again had it deflected. There's Shaw right at Armstrong. Lewis on the follow. Boston by 4.
That's part of the difference in these new Celtics. The athleticism with the young guys. When you miss one in transition, they're right there to follow back up and then running the floor hard.
22nd timeout called by Phil Jackson. Michael Jordan will be talking to himself in the locker room at halftime. It has not been one of his better halves. He had that one beautiful driving shot and drew the foul. The Bulls have now missed their last 5 field goal attempts, and Jordan is only 3 for 10.
In that last little replay, you can really see about when coaches say extend and challenge the shooters. That was one of Chris Ford's main points in team defense, is challenge shooters. Don't give them easy looks at the basket. Watch the 1 extended arm, 2 extended arms. It gets Jordan to pull the ball back down again. He's not releasing the jumper at the top.
Scottie Pippen is back. Bulls with 15 on the shot clock.
Those extended hands, by the way, are part of what helps them lead the league in field goal percentage by opponents being so low.
Cartwright changed his mind. He was in a crowd. And back come the Celtics. Here's Shaw. Hit by Armstrong. Going for the strip, but called for the foul. For BJ, his second. And a timeout has been taken by the Bulls. Mike, you know, NBA Commissioner David Stern really has a distorted sense of humor. To think that an every NBA basketball, he has put that little illustration.
It's a happy Easter bunny. That's what it is.
Right.
Wishing everyone out there a very happy Easter.
2:47 to go in this first half. Boston by 4. Larry Bird 5 for 9, 12 points to this point, and looks to be shooting well. He's been bothered by a bad back and a sore pinky, but has to be satisfied with what has taken place in this first half.
He's just taking the approach with the media that, look, it's part of what I have to deal with. Whether or not my game is going up in a positive way or down, I understand I have to live with this. My finger's bad. I got the bad back. I'm just here to play. I mean, I understand all those things. Let me just play through it. And in fact, nice response to the one question of, well, if you don't want us to write about your injuries, so we just say you're playing poorly? And yeah, I can live with that. Okay, I'm playing poorly. So they wrote it. He's playing poorly.
Yes, a writer posed that question to Bird after practice yesterday, and he has been struggling. Has not been a good period for Larry Bird. Boston by 5 with 2.5 remaining in the first half. Livingston guarded by Bird. Livingston up front with Cartwright and Pippen. Jordan and Paxson in the backcourt. Shot clock is down to 2. And D. Brown on the rebound. Brown and Shaw at the guards. Bird, Parrish, Gamble up front. Bird one-on-one with Livingston.
He backs him down, gets to the point where he's comfortable with the shot and then knows that he can shoot over the top. But on the other side, it's chemistry, just finding the right group on the floor that can turn things around. Since Livingston's come on, the Bulls have played well.
Biggest lead of the game for Boston, a 7-point margin. Pippen at the open shot. Paxson.
And Bird is down the other end of the floor. If they can just get it out in time. Bad bounce for the Celtics coming out of the net.
And the Bulls did race back on the transition. 1.5 to go in this first half. Celtics lead by 5. Again, Bird goes to work on Livingston. Livingston gets help. Bird kept the rebound alive, and then Parrish drew the foul.
In those situations when Larry's going to command and get the immediate double team, that's when he needs to kick out to those open perimeter guys, his guards. There's the double. Kick it right there to the elbow. His guard's got an open jumper.
Foul committed by Livingston. He will sit down. Grant returns. Robert Parrish to the foul line. Chatting with Robert yesterday, he told us this is his best year health-wise. Now, he's 37 years old. He is the oldest player in the NBA. I asked him how old does he feel basketball-wise. He said 30. I'll buy that. Boston by 6.
1 year left on the Chiefs' contract, by the way.
Here's Jordan. Cartwright on the follow, stopped by Parrish. And Bird lost it.
Bill Cartwright felt that he was hit on the arm that time from behind. Obviously distorted his, what we would consider to be a layup.
That last play actually a pass to himself once he released the ball, and that's why Chicago gets it back. Here it is. Put it on the floor and then stopped the dribble and then tapped it. So it is a turnover.
Show me your diversity by knowing the rules so
Thank you
well.
so much. 45 seconds to go, first half. Celtics with the ball, lead by 6. Bird gets inside. Well, Brown tried to sneak behind Pippen. Cartwright one-on-one. And Boston will hold for a final shot. 15 seconds left. The Bulls, meanwhile, 1 for their last 12. They've gone cold. Boston's defense has been very tough. Final seconds. Here's Shaw. And it was stopped by Jordan. He bottled him up. Terrific defensive play by Michael Jordan. Chris Ford was not happy. He was looking for a foul.
And Larry Bird talking to the officials saying, look, give him respect, but not that much respect.
At the half, it's Boston by 6. Pat Riley coming up. He'll be talking with Charles Barkley of the Sixers.
KWWL is Iowa's news channel.
Welcome back to the Boston Garden, where the Celtics lead the Bulls 53-47 as we head to the third quarter with Mike Fratello. I'm Marv Albert, and we talked right at the start about the fact that the Celtics must do the job defensively against Michael Jordan, and they certainly have in the first half.
An outstanding job of running other people at Michael Jordan. They're waiting after he catches the ball. When he puts it down, they come at him. His shots have been under duress, shooting only 3 for 11.
And Chicago only 18 for 44 for the half. The Chicago Bulls come into today's play 53-17. Best record overall in the NBA, a half game in front of the Portland Trail Blazers. The high point man of the game, Scottie Pippen, with 12. He hit 4 out of 8 from the field. He's the only Bull in double figures. Jordan only 3 for 11 for 7 points. Good start for Larry Bird, 6 out of 12. He has 14 along with 8 rebounds. Celtics with the edge off the boards in the first half at 27-20. The officials, Mike Mathis, Ed Rush, Joe Forte, as we get set for the start of play here in the third quarter. The Bulls shot only 6 for 21 from the field in the second quarter, and they are, as you saw a moment ago, just under 41% for the half, while Boston at 50%. Paxson and Jordan open up the guards. Cartwright with Grant and Pippen up front. Cartwright picked up on the switch by Shaw. Paxson draws Parrish out deep. Here's Pippen wide open for 3. Yes. And that with only 3 remaining on the shot clock. Boston 53, Chicago 50.
Excellent patience by the Bulls. They had a switch that time, and Cartwright had a much smaller man playing him. Instead, they reversed it back to the top.
Scottie Pippen only a 22% shooter from downtown. Grant over Bird. Yes. It is now a 1-point Celtic lead.
We'll see if the Bulls are making a conscious effort to go at Bird at the defensive end of the floor, saying that he was a little bit too involved in the first half offensively and rebounding.
Reggie Lewis on a quick release. 10 points for Lewis, and the Celtics by 3. Reggie Lewis playing with a bad back. Paxson with a 3-pointer. So they've come out firing here in the third quarter. John Paxson is a good long-range shooter. And the Celtics turn it over.
The swings and momentum in the game of basketball come so quickly. A couple open shots that teams knock down. You come down and turn it over one time, and suddenly a 5, 6, 7-point lead vanishes.
Bulls open up with an 8-2 run here in the early moments of the third. The game is tied at 55. Nice spin by Paxson. Campbell has Parrish. Good play by Pippen. The leg block gives the Bulls a new 24, but he avoided the easy 2.
Easy score that time for Parrish underneath if he doesn't get that leg out there.
Lewis again with room. Reggie Lewis has hit 5 out of 7. He was a question mark going into today. Chris Ford not certain whether he'd be able to play. Cartwright. Here's Grant whipping by Parrish. Played him very tentatively, and Grant took advantage. Game tied at 57. Grant not giving Bird any room. Bird was looking to step back. Shaw. Oh, nice reverse English employed by Brian Shaw. Celtics 59. Bulls 57. Here's Jordan. Cartwright with a good interior pass, and Grant was fouled by his second.
It's got to be a good sign for the Celtics when they can go down inside and have a guard like Shaw post his man, bring it up around the other side and score down low. Gives him a lot of people to post. Chief gets a piece, but on the second attempt, there's the foul.
And the Bulls within one. Chicago 12 for 13 from the foul line. Horace Grant comes off a good one against the Bullets Friday night. 22 points, 13 rebounds, and the game is tied at 59.
With Michael Jordan being basically out of this game so far to this point, you still have a tie basketball game. Phil Jackson has to be very encouraged. One of the things you fear is to be close to Chicago coming down the stretch, knowing they have Michael Jordan.
Yes, Jordan only 3 for 12, 7 points. Parrish, and he comes up holding the left ankle, and he hobbles. Robert Parrish has had difficulty with both ankles during the course of the season.
Right there, they catch it. You cannot double team a player on the floor that does not have the basketball. That time, Parrish and Bird wound up sneaking over, double teaming the post-up guy for the Bulls.
And that is their first violation. 8.5 left in the third. Celtics with a 2-point lead. A good play by Lewis to front Jordan.
Came around for the steal, got an arm in there. He knew he was caught that time, so he took a shot and gambled, came up with the steal.
Here's Bird. Yes. He was met on a switch by Jordan, and there was no hesitation.
Exactly. The quick catch and shoot that we had mentioned earlier in the game, something that Chris Ford seems to feel is the key in knowing whether or not he's loose for each particular game.
Bulls down by 4. Now Shaw chest to chest with Jordan. Beats him off the dribble and gives it out. Paxson. Yes. Paxson continues his good shooting. He has 13. Celtics by 2.
Difference between Jordan and so many of the superstars, when they are double the triple team, they still try to score on their own. He will give it up. He is an unselfish player. Now his teammates have to make open shots.
Parrish for Gamble. Yes.
Another example of playing unselfish basketball. Patience. Bird looking for Parrish. Parrish seeing Gamble go around backdoor, kicks it out at the last second.
Celtics lead 65-61. Boston has hit its last 6 field goal attempts after the good start by Chicago here in the third. Here's Jordan swinging in. Michael Jordan. 9 points for Jordan, who, as we mentioned at the start, has killed the Celtics up here in Boston. Over his career, averaged better than 36 per game at the Boston Garden. Not the case thus far. Cartwright called for the block. His second. Timeout being called by the Celtics. Boston by 2. 6:46 to go in the third. Well, we mentioned earlier that Michael Jordan has had some awesome performances here in Boston. Well, his greatest ever back in 1986. This one, Jordan came back from injury. He hit for 63 points against the Celtics. But it was Boston winning game 2 of a 3-game sweep of a playoff series. Celtics did it in double overtime, 135-111. Michael Jordan with 63 points. However, this afternoon thus far, he has been quiet. Only 4 for 13 from the field for 9 points. That has been it. For more on Michael, let's go to Ahmad.
Well, Marv, during that last timeout, Michael Jordan was complaining to the official, Joe Forte, that he is being fouled repeatedly on the shot and not getting any calls.
Mike, what are they doing against Jordan that has been so effective?
Well, they did spend time yesterday putting in, let's call them the Celtics rules for Michael Jordan. A little bit different than they played him in the past, as Larry Bird strokes another jump shot. Last 2 games against him, they felt that Jordan had wrecked the team, so they went over specific things they wanted to do on certain areas of the floor against Michael Jordan, and so far, seems to be working.
Earlier this season, he did have a 41-point performance against Boston. What specifically are they doing?
I was sworn to secrecy once again. They just decided who's going to do the double teaming, where they're going to come from. Are they going to double all the time? Or
Whoa!
Pippen with the drive, transition basketball, get those easy scores for the Bulls. They're just trying to make it clear to the other players on the team when you're going after them, when you're not, and who's coming, how you treat post-ups, how you treat pick and rolls.
Why would it work here today? It hasn't worked in the past.
Because I think in the past, they basically went with the philosophy of, hey, we're going to play him straight up, get a little help if we can, but let's not make it an issue. This time they made it an issue.
Brian Shaw called for the foul. This copyrighted telecast is being presented by authority of the National Basketball Association and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the NBA. 5.5 to go in the third. Boston by 2. Jordan with a rare open shot.
One of the few times that he's been standing by himself, could catch a pass. And, you know, sometimes in timeouts, you need to remind the team, hey, guys, you need to do a little better job of screening so we can get Michael open for some open shots because they're being very aggressive with him.
The game is tied at 67. Parrish off the head fake beats. Cartwright. Oh! Robert Parrish with a baseline move, whipping by Bill Cartwright. Boston 69, Chicago 67. Jordan eluding a triple team.
Michael really wanted to get that shot off that time because he had made the previous one. He wants to see if he can get himself on a little roll.
Campbell off a gorgeous pass from Bird. Terrific basketball end-to-end. Boston 71 and Chicago 69. 4.5 left. In the third, Grant took a shot, inadvertent, from Bird. He's playing with the prescription goggles, which have worked well, but he was poked.
Bird trying to move him out of the post area. 2 cutters go now. Bird trying to reach over to deflect the ball. Just gets a little piece of the head.
Second foul committed by Bird. Now Reggie Lewis up tight on Michael Jordan. And it's an offensive, or is it a travel? Let's see. Traveling violation.
Michael Jordan has such a great first step, but this one, he takes a few too many, in the official's opinion.
Yes, moving both feet at the same time. A no-no. Off the double, Parrish returns it to Shaw. And the Bulls in the open floor. Jordan with the save for Pippen. Rebound, Pippen. Oh, he blew the start. Reggie Lewis. Larry Bird. The Boston Celtics take a 4-point lead, and Phil Jackson wants to talk it over. .341 to go, third quarter. Celtics with a 4-point lead on the Chicago Bulls. Now, if the playoffs began today, the breakdown of the matchups in the Eastern Conference, the Knicks would go against the #1 seed Chicago. It would be Philadelphia, Milwaukee, Atlanta, Detroit, and Indiana and Boston. Celtics the #2 seed in the East. In the West Conference, Seattle would open against Portland, Utah, Phoenix, Houston, and the Lakers, and Golden State against San Antonio.
You know, sometimes when you're trying to get your star off, one screen is simply not enough. Right here, Chicago gives Jordan 2 screens so he can get open at the top of the circle for a jump shot. If you can't get him with one guy, use 2 people, make it a good big screen. That'll help get your player off for an open J.
Now let's go over to Ahmad Rashad.
All right, Mark, during that last time out, Phil Jackson said he wants to get more offensive rebounds and try to get his team to be more up-tempo, try to run with Jordan and Pippen.
All right, Ahmad, Celtics have had the edge off the boards throughout. Bird on the rebound. He's been double figures in the rebounding department. Pippen picking up his second.
That's 2 potential scores that Scottie Pippen's had. The dunk last time that didn't go in. This time, in frustration, tries to stop. Actually, his feet just give way that time, gets a piece of D. Brown. A good point, by the way, that Ahmad made there. The half-court defense of the Celtics has been so good, and they've challenged and changed so many shots that what Phil Jackson is saying is, hey, let's get him in the open floor, get away from the half-court defense.
D. Brown has checked back in, as has Ed Pinckney. Here's Lewis. Nice move. Going right at Jordan, and then succeeding with the pull-up. Boston 75, Chicago 69. It's been close throughout. At one point, Celtics led by as many as 7. Jordan, yes. Well, he has located the touch. He has 15. He is 7 for 16, but he's 4 out of 5 here in the third quarter. Pinckney being given the room. Takes the return. What a recovery! Yes, and it counts.
Pinckney with the good hands there. Late pass, finds the handle, and still maintains the concentration with the opportunity now for a three-point play.
Ed Pinckney hits 7 of 7 from the field against the Cavaliers in the victory Friday night, and he is 2 for 2 here this afternoon. Boston 78, Chicago 71. Jordan getting inside and is fouled. Michael Jordan will go to the line. Here's Kevin McHale. Parrish picked up the foul, his third. McHale making his return from the sprained ankle, played 6 minutes in the first half, 1 for 5 from the field, looking a bit on the rusty side.
Chris Ford just trying to let him feel his way back into it, wearing that big heavy brace on the one ankle. Gave him 6 minutes in the first half. Could probably give him another stretch here, 5 or 6 minutes, and see how he's doing.
Will Perdue coming on now for Bill Cartwright. Cartwright only 3 points.
There's that brace that we talked about. Ahmad had showed us earlier in the game. And that thing, it's tough to jump and run with a brace such as that.
Michael Jordan, 2 for 2 from the foul line. Michael comes in leading the NBA in scoring at 30.8. And it's Boston 78, Chicago 73. McHale guarded by Grant. Now Bird backing Pippen, 5 of the 24. Brown fires, yes. D. Brown, the rookie from Jacksonville, has hit on 5 out of 6. He's bounced back from an 0 for 6 on Friday night. Celtics by 7. Lewis again cutting off the path to Jordan, and Bird jumping out to break it up.
Nice job of double teaming Jordan and then rotating, anticipating where the next pass was going to be by Larry Bird.
Bird for 3. Rebounded by Grant. Bird has not been looking for the three-pointers. He's been off in that department recently. Jordan had it knocked away by Bird. And again, Bird stepping in the path to help break up the play. It will be Chicago ball with 1:21 remaining in the third. Cleveland and Philadelphia tied at 68 in the third quarter. And Charlotte by 2 over Washington. There's a 3. The Bulls have been hitting from long range. Axon with his second of the day. He has 16, and it's Boston 80, Chicago 76. D. Brown. Make it 6 for 7, 12 points for Brown.
Chicago may have to change their thinking on the way they're playing D. Brown. They started out the game saying every pick and roll, every chance we could against Shaw and Brown, we're going to go underneath the screen. You got to fight over it, I think, with D. Brown. He's proven today that he's making shots.
Will Perdue hit on the arm by Kevin McHale. Third foul for McHale. So Will Perdue will go to the foul line. He is only a 66% free throw shooter. Phil Jackson telling us last night that he has been satisfied with the work of Will Perdue as of late. Here's B.J. Armstrong. John Paxson departs. He's been a major factor. 7 for 11, 16 points. Will Perdue in his third season out of Vanderbilt. Earlier this year, he complained about lack of playing time. Misses both free throws. And Boston with a 6-point lead and 40 seconds to go in the third. Now Brown being guarded by Armstrong, got picked off, and Brown hits again. D. Brown weaving his way for the bucket. He now has 14. Boston by 8, and the foul call. That's number 4 on McHale.
D. Brown feels it right now. He gets it going that time, hits the little floater, moving into the lane. Here's the drive to the basket by Pippen. He goes strong here. McHale just as strong, challenging the shot.
Scottie Pippen will shoot a pair. He's a 67% free throw shooter. 18 for Pippen. B.J. Armstrong telling us he feels the major difference between this year's Bulls and last year, the fact that Pippen last year was an average NBA player. He is now an all-star, and that has helped to lift this club.
He's stepped up his productivity. The team has stepped up the number of games that they've won, and he's also stepping up his contract negotiations.
Yes, he is. He was dissatisfied about the way things were going earlier, but it looks like they're closing in on making a new deal. Reggie Lewis continues the hot Boston shooting. Final seconds of the third. Celtics by 8. Pippen beating Pickney. Here's Armstrong getting it off. After 3, the Celtics hear it from the crowd. They lead the Bulls 86-78. We'll be back after these messages and a word from your local station. Easter Sunday in Boston at a capacity crowd 14,890 turning out of the Boston Garden. Their 487th consecutive sellout. The Boston Celtics with a solid performance after 3, leading the Chicago Bulls 86-78. Marv Albert with Mike Fratello, Ahmad Rashad, Pat Riley. Well, Michael Jordan getting back into it though in the third quarter with 10 of the Bulls' 31 points after the slow start. Jordan with only 7 at halftime. He now has 17. And the Celtics burning it up 16 for 22 in the third. Not that the Bulls shot badly. D. Brown brings it across against B.J. Armstrong. Bird up front with McHale and Pinckney. Lewis beating Hodges. Greg Hodges played briefly in the first half. He and Armstrong at the guards, and now Jordan is playing at a forward position, and he's posting up on Brown.
Exactly. Phil Jackson trying to shake things up right here with a different combination. Now has Michael Jordan up front as the small forward, and he has 2 very small guards in the backcourt right now. Jordan trying to post up down the low block here. Good job of D. Brown of rooting him out, getting him away from the paint.
Rooting him out.
Yes, coaching terminology. As the year goes on, you'll pick up all the lingo.
Thank you very much, Mike. Very tough today. Grant called for that last foul. And off the reject, here comes Jordan. Now met by Bird. And he drew the foul. Off the head fake, Larry Bird charged with his 4th.
The point in sliding Jordan up front is somebody from that front line has to defend him off the dribble. That time it wound up being Bird on Jordan. Bird has to give him room because he knows he's too quick. Jordan got him in the air with the pump fake, drew the foul.
direction. That number 3 on Bird. 3 apiece on Bird and Gamble. Michael Jordan with his usual exploits, leading the NBA at 30.8, third in steals, among the leaders in field goal percentage. '86-80 Boston. Well, Larry Bird with 20 points to lead the Celtics, and Michael Jordan heating up in the second half. And they are now matched, which is most unusual. Here's Brown. He's been on fire. Yes, and it counts.
When you got it going, you get all the rolls. That thing caught the rim, found its way back in. Touch, shooter's touch. That's what he would tell us. He just elevates up over the top of the defensive player. And as we mentioned, there are 2 very small guards on the floor right now for Chicago.
Armstrong called for the foul, his third. D. Brown, 17 points. He is 8 for 10 from the field. And the Celtics lead 89-80. Here's Jordan. And McHale gets to it. Pinckney for McHale.
Excellent feed by Eddie Pinckney. Turned in the lane to make his move and found his teammate trailing down the middle.
Biggest lead of the game. Boston by 11, and the Bulls take a timeout. Ed Pinckney delivering to Kevin McHale. The Celtics by 11.
A couple of seconds ago, D. Brown took a shot. He was fouled. The ball went in, and you heard the announcer go, yes, and it counts. To show you how quick they are here in Boston, these shirts are circulating all over the arena, and I think they can be bought here. Boy, what a catchy phrase.
Well, Ahmad merchandising some very fine-looking shirts, Mike.
It's the stylish thing right now. My only concern was the color today. I'd like to be a little more color coordinated.
And I like the look.
Thank you. Notice the lettering on
Yes.
match, but this, no good. I don't like that part of it.
Back to the action quickly. Boston with the 11-point advantage. Michael Jordan now being guarded by Ed Pinckney. And Michael Jordan with 21. Celtics lead at 91-82. 2 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter.
Here comes the post-up now of Bird against Jordan.
He goes to the hook. Well, the Bulls claiming offensive interference, but the basket counts. It's Ed Pinckney once again.
Pinckney got that long arm there. Their complaint, the Bulls, was that the ball was still on the rim when he tipped it in.
D. Brown off that Bulls turnover. McHale for 3. 3-pointer for Kevin McHale. He'll take it. The Bulls may be beginning to get the idea this is not their day.
Kevin McHale now 12 for 34 from the three-point line, shooting over 33%. He likes shooting that three-pointer.
He has discovered the joys of long-range shooting this season. In the past, he did not look to shoot from downtown. That was number 4 on Larry Bird.
I think he started his three-point assault in that playoff series against Detroit a few years back.
B.J. Armstrong cuts it to a 13-point Boston lead. Here's Scottie Pippen returning. Replaces Craig Hodges, who did not score. So the Celtics opening it up. 9-10 remaining in the fourth. And it's Boston with a 12-point advantage. John Paxson has been hot, getting set to return. Pippen getting a piece of it. 10 on the 24. Here comes Paxson. Replacing Armstrong. Coming up next, right here on NBC, live final round coverage of the Players' Championship from the Tournament Players Club at Sawgrass. Paul Azinger, the leader, after a third round 69 yesterday. He's at 12 under 204. That's one stroke in front of Fuzzy Zeller. Here's Pippen. Oh, spectacular move by Scottie Pippen. He has 21, and the Celtics lead at 96-86. Timeout being taken by Boston. 8:35 remaining in the fourth. Phil Jackson not pleased. All right, Charlie, here in Boston, the Celtics with a 96-86 lead on the Bulls. 8:35 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Here's the play that got quite a few of the Bulls upset. When Bird missed his hook, they're claiming that the ball was still in the cylinder when Pinckney reached up and tipped it in. They're saying no basket. Unfortunately, the scoreboard said 2 points for Boston.
Cleveland and Philadelphia tied at 83 in the fourth at the Spectrum in Philly. And word from Philadelphia, Charles Barkley forced out of the game, will not return, injured strained ligament of the left knee, and we do not know the severity of that injury. So Barkley sidelined. Michael Jordan puts the move on Reggie Lewis and gets the roll. 23 for Jordan, who's come on in the second half.
He only made that shot over the top of 4 players that time.
Dee Brown with a long stint. He has played very well. Here's Lewis. Oh! Pippen lost it. Pinckney with a good play. Ed Pinckney continues to excel.
In his one-on-one move, Michael Jordan knows that he can take any one defender. But when it's 1, 2, 3, and even 4 coming over, still pretty tough.
A hand for the combination of Pinckney, Brown, and McHale. They sit down. Bird, Parrish, and Gamble return. Here's Lewis. Jordan went for the strip. And back comes Pippen.
And then a nice rotation by Grant, also challenging the shot.
Scottie Pippen brings Chicago within 6. 8 consecutive points by the Bulls. And the Celtics take a timeout.
Jordan goes for the steal, misses, but now watch Grant get the arm out, extend, makes him miss the open shot.
7:39 remaining in the fourth. Boston 96, Chicago 90.
The Philadelphia 76ers, the Chicago Bulls, Barkley, Jordan, Sir Charles meets the Lord of the Air. Can the big boys from Philly humble the hottest team in the NBA? The NBA on NBC. Come fly with us.
Back in Boston, the Celtic lead is now 6 off a burst by the Bulls. 7:39 remaining in the fourth. Let's go over to Ahmad.
Well, Mark, during that last timeout, Chris Ford was very upset at his team, saying they're standing around too much on the offense and they're slow getting back in that transition defense. Therefore, Chicago is taking advantage of it by letting Jordan and Pippen start running.
Well, the Boston bench has done the job, sparked by Dee Brown with 17, his career high 22. Joe Forte with the call on Pippen. That is his 4th. He is the only Bull in foul trouble. Larry Bird has 4, as does Kevin McHale. Lewis double team. Celtics back to Shaw and Lewis in the backcourt. Bird up front with Gamble and Parrish. Chris Ford back to his starting lineup. 8 on the shot clock. Bird for 3. Larry Bird from downtown. He now has 23. He's opened up a 9-point lead.
Defensive mistake that time by Grant. With the clock running down, that's the time to crowd, Larry. Make him beat you off the dribble in the late stages with the clock down.
His first 3-pointer of the day. Grant, yes, 99-92 Celtics. Grant has 15. 6:45 remaining in the fourth. Bird, quick release.
And Grant up just a little bit closer that time, challenging the shot. He said, no more easy ones.
Jordan, yes. Michael Jordan has 25. He had 7 at the half. It's a 5-point Boston lead. Shaw. Oh, it's a jump shooting exhibition. And the Celtics lead 101-94. Jordan backing Lewis. Paxson. And back come the Celtics.
Little two-man basketball now. Pick and roll.
And the good play by Paxson, tying up Shaw.
Paxson saw him holding that ball out in front and said, wait a minute, before I get knocked off here by Larry Bird's screen, I'm going to get my hands in there and get a piece of this. You put it out in front, he'll take it. Maybe take a little bit of the wrist with it, but the idea is good.
Celtics control the tap. Good look by Bird. It's a goaltend. Purdue slapping it aside. It will count. Reggie Lewis getting credit for the field goal.
You shake that guy free underneath. Larry Bird's going to find him. Purdue taking it off the glass. 2 points.
Celtics lead by 9. Paxson.
What they're doing is keeping Jordan in the middle of the floor, trying to get the defense to collapse from the wing so he opens up his teammates for the 3. Just like that.
Did not have the room in that first opportunity, but then able to bury it. So John Paxson has 19. He's hit 3 from downtown. 103-97 Boston. Lewis able to answer. 20 points for Reggie Lewis, who, as we mentioned earlier, was a question mark for today because of a bad back. Here's Jordan. Yes, Michael Jordan with the pure penetration. Celtics 105, the Bulls 99.
Nice adjustment by Phil Jackson, getting Jordan live in the middle of the floor with the basketball. Give him a little bit different look for the Celtics. Their defense knew what they wanted to do when he was posting.
Parrish forced into that difficult shot. Here's Jordan giving it up. Pippen. It is a 4-point Boston lead. Scottie Pippen has 25. So once again, the Bulls have come roaring back. We approach 4 minutes remaining in the fourth. Bird, yes. Larry Bird has 25. 6-point lead for the Celtics. The Bulls call for time. Well, the Boston defensive work on Michael Jordan was clicking in the first half, but not so in the second. He has scored 20 of his 27 points in the second half.
Nice move by Phil Jackson. When you get Michael Jordan in the middle of the floor with the basketball, what you give him is the opportunity to penetrate in either direction, trying to bring in these defensive wings, opening up shots for his teammates, and that's what they've done. Last 5 times down the floor, Jordan with the ball in the middle, trying to pull that wing in, just a little bit of help, spot up the shooter, and he just can't recover in time. Paxson knocks down a 3.
He is, ladies and gentlemen, the czar of the telestrator. An unbelievable man.
Talented.
So Jordan with 27 and Bird with 25. Larry Bird with a terrific all-around performance. Timeouts remaining. Chicago with 2 and a 20. Celtics 2 and a 20 with just under 4 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. Shot clock is down to 5. Jordan, that was 2-point range. Loose ball foul. The outside official, Ed Rush, calling it on Boston. It's on Parrish. That's 3 on Parrish.
Grant was really up in the air that time. He gets a running start, takes off, and he's hanging there, hoping for that ball to get close enough to give him a chance on the tip.
Jordan posting up. And the foul on Lewis. Now they have corrected the foul rundown. 4 on Parrish and 4 on Bird. So that is the foul difficulty for Boston.
See, that time Jordan was coming from the side, so the whole Celtic defense could see where the ball was, see where he was. They could wall off the other side of the floor. Back again out of the middle that time.
Jordan trying to go glass. Cartwright. Bill Cartwright with only a second field goal. That's a big one. It cuts it down to 4 with 3:10 remaining in the fourth quarter. Bird off the dribble, way off. And here comes Pippen out of the pack. Good transition by the Celtics. And Jordan will set it up. Lost the dribble off his foot. Good recovery by Paxson. Pippen changed his mind. And now shoots. And hits a three-pointer for Scottie Pippen, his second of the day. He has 28. And the Bulls within 1.
And notice again, the Bulls went back to Michael Jordan, starting that whole play off from the middle of the floor. It's really hurt the Celtics defense.
Shaw will not count. Offensive foul, says Mike Mathis. Used his elbow to set up.
Paxson playing him a little bit too tough, a little too close. He's trying to get a little room, uses that right shoulder and elbow to move him out of the way. See, Shaw thinks he's big enough. He just wants to get in the right spot to shoot it.
Bulls in possession. Now down by 1. Celtics have led by as many as 14. Jordan off the double pump. Found Grant. Last touch by the Celtics. Celtics were headed up the floor. The officials check it out. And it will be Chicago ball.
Again, Jordan, when he elevates and can see down inside and find a teammate, so tough to play.
Down to 3 on the 24. Down to 2, and Jordan gets it off. Oh, what a save by Pippen. And they get the new 24. A minute 50 to go in the fourth. Pippen in on a reach-in.
Robert Parrish jumped out that time, switched on to Pippen, and then he just took him off the dribble as he should. Great hustle here by both teams. Pippen catches it one hand, at the same time turns and looks for who he's going to pass it to.
Robert Parrish committing number 5, and the Celtics are over the limit. The Bulls have a foul to give. Pippen is 6 for 6 from the line, and the game is tied at 107. Scottie Pippen, who each year has improved his offensive output, now has 30 points. The Bulls take a 1-point lead. They have come from 14 down, looking to make it 3 out of 4 over the Celtics this season. Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, Ahmad Rashad, Pat Riley from the Boston Garden. The Bulls by 1 with a minute 46 remaining in this fourth quarter. The first time the Bulls have led since it was 38-37 in the second quarter. Larry Bird, 11 for 24 now for his 25 points, along with 11 rebounds, 8 assists. Scottie Pippen leading Chicago with 30. Michael Jordan with 27, 20 of the 27 in the second half.
Keep in mind, Chicago still has 1 foul to give before Boston gets to the bonus situation.
Bird had it knocked away. Scottie Pippen with the defensive play to break it up.
And that's the kind of gamble you can take, knowing that if they call it a foul when you reach around, they still just get it back out on the side.
Oh, look out, Jordan. Strangled by Pinckney.
Pippen knows he can gamble and try and smack it from behind. If a foul is called, all they're going to do is take it out on the side. Instead, they come up with a steal. Jordan, seeing he's got a big guy switching out, just turns the corner, takes him to the basket.
Jordan is 5 for 5 from the line. So he has turned it after the 7-point first half. He was only 3 for 11 from the floor in that first half. Kevin McHale returns. And Ed Pinckney will sit down. This is a matchup of the top 2 teams in the Eastern Conference. Chicago 53-17, and the Bulls have the best overall record in the NBA. Boston at 51-20. That's their best record since the 86-87 season. And Mike, despite the success of the Bulls, their players feel they don't get the proper respect, in particular from the Indiana Pacers, who have been talking trash.
All they have to do is pick up the newspaper every day and see who's up on top, and that should be enough to satisfy them.
Cartwright on the rebound of the Lewis miss. Chicago Bulls down by as many as 14 with the ball and a 3-point lead. Here's Jordan. Jordan on the rebound. Bird tried to tie him up, and Jordan stepped out. Oh, let's see. They indicate, no, a timeout call. Michael Jordan wisely calling for time. He was in trouble, surrounded, and took the 20-second timeout.
Good call. He was in trouble under the basket after he beats him off the dribble and has a crowd of Celtics around him. Gets his hands back on it. Right here, he realizes, I'm in a lot of trouble, gang, and yet has the presence, after he comes up with it, to still call a quick timeout.
Bulls have 2 left. Boston with 1. And a 20 following the Bulls and the Celtics. Coming up next here on NBC, it'll be live final round coverage of the Players' Championship. And Paul Azinger is the man to catch. That's next, right here on NBC. 54 and 4/10 seconds to go in this fourth quarter. Chicago Bulls with 11 wins their last 13 games. Boston Celtics have struggled recently. They just did get by Cleveland at home on Friday, lost in Miami on Thursday. And the Celtics hit by numerous injuries in recent weeks. Down to 10 on the shot clock. Jordan, he had it deflected. Parrish on the rebound. Boston down by 3. McHale was caught. Bird couldn't find the 3-pointer. Here's McHale back to Bird for 3. Shaw able to keep it alive. Lewis from downtown. Lewis with the 3 to tie the game at 1:10. The Bulls take a timeout with 19 and 4/10 seconds to go in the fourth.
Hard to understand how, when Larry Bird has the ball, no one can be guarding him out by the 3-point line. Understanding that the difference is 3, you've got to push out on the perimeter players. You can't come out late and not extend a hand on the open shooters. You must force them to put it on the floor. Phil Jackson knows it's a problem. Oh, no.
And for Reggie Lewis, that his first successful 3-pointer of this 1991 season. Celtics with only their second of the day. Bird hit one earlier. Chicago 5 for 8 from downtown. The Boston Celtics began the season shooting the 3 frequently, but not hitting. They have come on as of late. They dropped off for a spell, but they are back into it. So the Celtics and the Bulls tied at 1:10. When we resume, it will be Chicago ball with 19 and 4/10 seconds remaining.
Something that we may look for here as they come out of the huddle. Neither team has been called for a delay of game yet. understanding that Chicago is probably going to play for the last shot, either win it or try to go into overtime, the Celtics may try to get a look at what this play is going to be. Notify the official, tell him, hey, look, I'm going to run over the line, get too close to the guy who's taking it out. I expect you to call delay a game. What he's hoping is that the other 4 players on the team get a good look at what play they're running. Right now, it looks like Chicago's going to take it in on the baseline, so you won't get a chance to see it.
That has been a popular tactic recently. Let's go over to Ahmad.
All right, Marv, what they're going to try to do, the Chicago team, is try to spring Michael Jordan off of a couple of picks. They figure they're going to overplay him, but they're still trying to bring him over. Marv.
All right, Ahmad. Out of 15 seconds. Game tied, 110. Paxson, hand check by Shaw. Jordan, top of the circle. Out of 5. Cartwright gets it to Jordan, but he couldn't hold on. Cartwright's pass off the mark. Phil Jackson was looking for a foul. He felt the Celtics were a bit too physical.
You need to give credit to Reggie Lewis. He knew that that was the guy they were going to. He fought him all the way. He tried to force him to back cut, which Jordan had an initial back cut early that he didn't take right around the middle of the foul line area. Instead, when he got over on the sideline, that's when he tried to back up. Right here is where he can go back door. Instead, he takes a straight. There's the back cut. The pass just a little too far.
3 seconds remaining in regulation. The game is tied at 110. The Bulls do have a foul to give to slow down the sequence as the Celtics inbound. Celtics are down to a 20-second timeout left, and the Bulls have 1 timeout remaining.
And let's keep in mind, the Celtics, as Phil Jackson takes a little look at what's going on there, he kind of feels that the Celtics were a little too physical. There's the hold he's calling for right there. He's got his arm. That's why he couldn't get away to catch the pass from Cartwright. But the Celtics understand that the Bulls have a foul to give. So they will anticipate as soon as they catch, someone's going to try to foul them. They may just try to get a shot up immediately so it's in the act of shooting.
The Chicago Bulls down by as many as 14. Sparked by the combination of Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan in the second half. Have been able to come back. They had an opportunity to take the lead, but the pass went astray. It is now Celtic ball. 3 seconds remaining, and Boston will put it in play at half court. The Bulls, as we mentioned, with that 1 foul to give. Pippen on the inbounds. Bird will throw it in. Bird wants room. And there it is. That is the delay of game.
They got to look at what they wanted. They know what play they want to run. Now they should be able to defend it better.
So Pippen stepped over the line. Bird couldn't find anyone. And let's see what the call is. Last touched by Chicago. Now down to 2 4/10 seconds remaining. Chris Ford reminding Larry Bird there is a 20-second timeout left. Again, they line it up. Here's McHale. Back for Bird for the game winner. We go to overtime.
Everyone held their breath. They still thought it was going to go in after it was up on the top of the glass.
The Celtics and the Bulls tied at 110 at the end of regulation. Larry Bird and the Celtics do not get the hop. Here's another look at it from behind the basket. He hit the rim, the high hop, but no go. On to OT, and we'll be back after these words from your local station. All right, Charlie, we go to overtime here in Boston. The Bulls and the Celtics tied at 110. Phil Jackson checking out the shot by Larry Bird. That accepts it well.
He said if that would have gone in, it wouldn't have been fair. This guy's cheering all the way at this end, saying, please go in.
It did not drop. And so, for the first time this season, the Bulls play an overtime game. They're the only NBA team not to be involved in OT, while the Celtics 1 up and 1 down in overtime. Parrish and Cartwright on the opening tip.
And the Celtics starting the overtime with the combination of the old front line and the young backcourt.
Bird on the drive to the left hand. The tip by McHale. Boston by 2. Just the start of this 5-minute overtime session. Paxson and Jordan at the guards. Cartwright, Pippen, Grant up front. Jordan played well by Lewis. Illegal defense called by Boston. And that is their second infraction. It will be a technical foul.
You know, Cartwright asking the assistant trainer there, please hold my contact. I'll do without it for now.
Jordan will shoot the technical. He is 7 for 7 from the line. Bulls 25 for 28 from the foul line. Boston has been at the line only 12 times, 9 for 12.
A tough coaching decision right here for Chris Ford. Do you play D. Brown, who's had an outstanding game scoring-wise, or do you leave Shaw in there? His thinking, from what he mentioned to us yesterday, Shaw runs the team better with the old front line on the floor. That's where they're going to go right now, to those people up front for scores, and need somebody to get him the ball at the right time.
Paxson open. And the call is last touch by Chicago. Boston 112. Chicago 111. 1 minute gone by in overtime. Cartwright pushing and shoving. Parrish. Yes. Robert Parrish giving Boston a 3-point advantage. Pippen. And it's down to 1. Celtics 114 and the Bulls 113.
You kind of forget about Robert Parrish. Just before that shot, he's 4 for 5 from the floor. He makes that one. He's 5 for 6. Very quiet game for him.
Scottie Pippen has 32. Stay right here, says Mike Mathis. The push on that man, Bill Cartwright. Third foul committed by Cartwright. Non-shooting affair. Philadelphia has defeated Cleveland at the Spectrum 110-101. Game that saw Charles Barkley forced out with a ligament injury. Bird, he was in, but not able to convert. However, the foul called on Chicago. Some consolation by Kevin McHale.
Well, Bird just can't get the left-handers to fall for him today. He's missed a number of them. They're up on the rim, just won't go.
Grant picks up his third. Down to 3:10 remaining in this 5-minute overtime session. Eight on the shot clock. Parrish checked the clock. Parrish, yes, 2 big buckets by Robert Parrish in overtime, and he's hearing the chant of Chief from this capacity crowd. Boston 116, Chicago 113. Pippen with the step, and then rejected by Bird. Jordan was deflected short. Oh, superb defensive sequence by the Celtics.
And what the Celtics did that time, they put Kevin McHale on Pippen with those long arms. He can play off him just enough to cause some indecision whether he should shoot the three-pointer or put it on the floor. Once he put it down, the Celtics helped out.
Offensive foul on McHale. Pushing out to locate the proper position, and he is hit with number 5.
Let's take a look at McHale down low, posting up. See if he uses that arm to hold him off illegally.
5 apiece on McHale and Parrish. Bird has 4. Pippen met by Bird, rejected by McHale. It will be Chicago ball.
That's twice in a row that Pippen has tried to go by McHale, and Bird has been the teammate to help out and either get a piece or change the shot.
The Bulls with 5 on the shot clock, and they've called for a timeout. We'll be right back. This matchup of the Chicago Bulls and the Boston Celtics, the top teams in the Eastern Conference. They are vying for home court advantage throughout the playoffs. The Bulls at 53-17 and the Celtics at 51-20. The Bulls have the best overall record in the NBA, half game in front of the Portland Trailblazers. It will be Chicago ball, 5 on the shot clock. That block a moment ago, number 10 for the Celtics. Reggie Lewis with 4 rejections. That shows what a job he's done on Michael Jordan. Pippen for 3. And Shaw on the rebound. We're down to 1 minute and 45 remaining in overtime.
I'm not sure that Pippen realized how much time was left on the clock just then to get that one up.
Cartwright jumping out. Parrish met by Grant. Here's Bird for 3. Parrish able to get it back. Celtics with a 3-point lead with the ball. 1 minute 20 to go in overtime. Bird off the screen. Parrish. That is his 3rd field goal in overtime.
It's so hard to understand how he gets the shot off and he has such great touch and shoots 60%.
Here's Jordan, and he's hacked. Celtics arguing the call as Parrish has fouled out.
Robert Parrish is not shooting this over a small person. Bill Cartwright is a 7-footer with bulk. He's got his body up against him, and yet Parrish gets it off and keeps the concentration. At the other end, not too many of the Celtics believe there's a foul here.
Standing ovation for Robert Parrish. Leads with 15 points, 10 rebounds, 6 of the 15 here in overtime. At 37 years of age, the oldest player in the league, and perhaps his finest over a star-studded 15-year career. Ed Pinckney, hearing the chants of Eddie from this crowd, will check in, replacing Parrish.
What happens is you get rid of a Parrish. McHale simply moves over into the center spot. Bird stays on the floor, and you bring in another guy, 6'10", 6'11", with long arms that can defend the rebound in Pinckney.
McHale playing with 5 fouls. Jordan is 8 out of 8 from the line. 1 minute 1 remaining in overtime. Boston leading now by 4. Coming up next, it'll be live final round coverage of the Players Championship from the Tournament Players Club at Sawgrass. We go to Charlie Jones and the boys right after the Bulls and the Celtics. Boston 118 and Chicago 115.
Chicago showing their press now after the made free throw. A little trap in the backcourt.
Get it down. McHale had an ocean changed his mind. 10 on the shot clock. 45 seconds to go in the overtime. Lewis with the step and then stripped by Jordan. McHale lost it. Here comes Pippen. Try to pull up Paxson for 3 to tie it. He does! The Bulls and the Celtics tied at 118. Boston calls for time with 32 seconds left in overtime.
Chicago put themselves in this position by pressing after the made free throw. As a result, the shot clock is way down. McHale knows he's just got to get it out of there before the buzzer goes off. Instead, the steal on their way at the other end. Pippen leading the break, turns around, finds Paxson trailing, knocks out a 3 to tie the score. 118-118. Coach Jackson kind of hoping something good is going to happen. Just wants to help out, let him know it's a 3.
And John Paxson has hit 4 out of 4 from three-point land. The reaction from Robert Parrish as he watched Paxson put it through. Let's go back to Ahmad.
All right, Mark, Chris Ford what they're trying to do is take the ball down low and trying to draw a foul, trying to get a three-point play, and also trying to stop Chicago from running.
Game tied at 118. Down to 25 seconds to go. In overtime, 14 on the shot clock. Bird matched with Pippen. Now Grant over to help. Bird is stopped. Bird recovers, stopped again, and caught right, able to get to it. Phil Jackson says keep going, no timeout. They'll try to win it here. Final seconds, Jordan. And Bird is fouled with 1/10 of a second remaining, but it's a non-shooting foul. It will be Celtic ball, 1/10 of a second left in overtime with the game tied at 118.
Larry Bird didn't realize that Grant was going to be there when he turned baseline. They get a piece of it. Bird just couldn't find the handle. At the end, he just hoped to get it up on the glass, knowing that McHale and Pinckney would be there to offensive rebound. Jordan trying to take it right in transition in the flow of the game, beats his guy. There come the rest of the Celtics to help. And now right here, after the save by McHale, the timeout is called.
And they have readjusted the clock. 1 1/10 second remaining in overtime.
With 1 1/10 second remaining, you can get a possession shot at the basket. It means you can catch it and shoot it. It does not have to be a tip necessarily. That's with 3/10 of a second or less left on the clock, where you have to tip it in to count.
That last foul called on Jordan, his second. Celtics talking it over as they set up the fling. And we are facing the prospect of a second overtime. The Chicago Bulls in their first overtime game of the season. The Boston Celtics in their third. They split the previous two.
In this situation, you're talking about a couple of things that teams can do. One, as you mentioned, is the fling, a hope and a prayer where you just catch it, release it, get out of your hands, similar to what Trent Tucker did earlier this year in Detroit against the Pistons, or some type of lob to the basket where there's a back pick taking place. You hope for the catch and the eventual layup.
All right, let's get back to Ahmad.
All right, Chris Ford, the timeout. Larry Bird will take the ball out of bounds. They're hoping to set a pick low and have a man pop out for the jumper, or maybe get the delay of game penalty and start all over again.
All right, Mike Mathis getting set to throw it in. As you see, Bird 0 for his last 8, and Jordan 0 for his last 7. 1 1/10 second left. And here it is. Bird intended pass for the prayer. Time runs out. Only D. Brown was in sight. That is not what the Celtics had in mind. And Phil Jackson was attempting to call for a timeout. The scoreboard indicating no time remaining.
On this play, the back pick guy is D. Brown. That's who they're trying to throw the lob for. Pippen sees it, rotates over along with Grant. They come up, and the timeout is called while there still is time on the clock.
Yes, they just placed a 10th of a second remaining. D. Brown, a man who can leap the intended receiver of that pass. Right now, let's go to Charlie Jones at Sawgrass. And back here in Boston, they have once again adjusted the time remaining. Chris Ford very upset as they changed from 1/10 of a second to 4/10 of a second. It will be Chicago ball. That's time remaining in this overtime with the game tied at 118. Let's get back to Ahmad.
All right, Mark, with only 4/10 of a second left, what the Bulls are going to try to do is go for the lob play. It'll either be Jordan or Pippen, and Bill Cartwright will take it out of bounds.
All right, Ahmad doing his prowling back behind the Chicago Bulls bench. And And it appears that the 7'2" rookie out of Yugoslavia, Stojko Vrankovic, will check in to provide problems on the inbound. Bill Cartwright will look to throw it in.
They don't want to give Cartwright a real good look at the basket. They're telling the big guy, make yourself big, get those arms up there, take away that right hand for that pass.
And Cartwright, after checking it out, calls for a timeout. Chicago will have, let's see, was that the final timeout? All right, final timeout taken by the Bulls. And let's see how Chicago plays it now. So Chris Ford going to the strategy. I can recall back in the 70s when Phil Jackson was a member of the Knicks. He was the master at defending against the inbounds with the long windmill effect that he'd provide.
You just don't want to give that passer out of bounds a real good look at the floor. You want him to have to arc the ball so people have a chance to rotate, perhaps steal it. But right now the key thing is they must get the ball inbounds. They have no more timeouts left.
Boston has 1 and a 20. And now the Bulls, after talking it over once again, will have 4/10 of a second left in overtime. Tie game at 118. We also just received word from the scorer's table. You may recall that last second play where Michael Jordan at first was called for a foul. They say no foul on Jordan. It was just that he deflected the ball out of bounds and stopped the clock. For those of you scoring at home.
After getting a look at the way Boston defended the last play, perhaps now what you do is you run a back cut or backdoor play. Don't use anyone to screen or to backpick, because that gives the Celtics the ability to switch on it. Open the floor up, have people coming to the ball, and then send the guy on the back door that you want to throw the lob to.
The 7'2" Vrankovic remaining as the defender. Scottie Pippen now will look to throw in. 4/10 of a second. And here it is, Jordan with the fling. Yes! But it's waved off. Will not count. Mike Mathis said no. Did not beat the clock.
That's a tough call right there. 4/10 of a second means you do have time to catch and shoot. Obviously, he felt that it was in his hands a little bit too long.
Get another look at it. Whoa, it is waved off by Mike Mathis. Here it is.
Well, if that ball is still in his hands, that red light is on right there. That's what you're looking for. If it's in his hands, then it has not been released yet, and the shot would not count. Everything from there looks good, except we just can't see the clock or the red light from that angle.
All right, here's a look at regular speed. You see the shot clock. Now you couldn't really see it. It ran off too quickly. So Mike Mathis said too late. And the Chicago Bulls with a mild protest and have to accept the fact that they're going into a second overtime.
If you look behind the backboard, you'll see that red light. If that red light is on before the ball is released, there's the red light. Ball is still in his hands. A good call by Mike Mathis.
And I think Mike would be pleased to know that it was, not that he's doubting it, but you know, you play it back in your own mind, and I'm sure he saw it all the way. But as you say, as we take another look at it, it was the proper call.
Red light's on, the ball is in his hand, the proper call.
What a shot by Jordan. Forget about the fact it was too late. Under pressure with the fling, and he hit it.
Oh, didn't you expect that to happen? What?
The reaction from Chicago Bulls teammates, they think it's over. That's Scott Williams and B.J. Armstrong leading the victory march, but it does not count. And we go on to a second overtime. The game tied at 118. Robert Parrish has fouled out. He was the hero for the Celtics in overtime number 1 with 6 points. Scottie Pippen, the high man, with 32. Michael Jordan has 32. John Paxson with 22. Larry Bird with 25. Here's Paxson. And Rebounded by Bird. A lot of minutes here this afternoon for Larry Bird. Not bad for a guy playing with a bad back and an injured finger. He has not shot well down the stretch. Either has Jordan.
It's great to hear all these coaches talk about they're really concerned as Bird hits a little fadeaway. They're really concerned about the minutes building up. They want to be fresh going into the playoffs until the game starts. Then everyone says winning becomes the most important thing. You go with your main guys, the guys that get you there.
Bird has 27. Boston by 2. Paxson. John Paxson, at the end of the first overtime, hit that clutch three-pointer that tied the game at 118. He's tied it now at 120. A minute in. Overtime number 2. Bird, yes. Larry Bird heating it up. It's Boston 122, Chicago 120.
Robert Parrish gave a little nod right there saying he got it going right now. He feels it.
Pippen lost it. Celtics with Shaw, Lewis, and Brown. So Lewis goes up front with McHale and Bird. Shaw and Brown are at the guard. Grant on Bird, off the head fake. Rebounded by Pippen. Now Pippen played by Lewis. Jordan guarded by Shaw. Here's Jordan. A spectacular attempt. Incredible that he got the shot off. Brian Shaw had it knocked away. Here's D. Brown. Yes. D. Brown has hit 9 for 11 for 19 points. Timeout called by Chicago. It's Boston by 4 points. All right, Charlie. Well, they are prepared here at the Boston Garden for the possibility of 6 overtimes. That should be pointed out. We are only in the second overtime with 3:08 remaining. And we have had some dazzling finishes at the end of regulation. It was Bird with the opportunity to win it for Boston, but it did not bounce his way. And at the end of overtime, Michael Jordan hit one, but Mike Mathis ruled that it was too late. Did not beat the clock. Boston with a 4-point lead. Cartwright with the Duncan under move, and his shot was bottled up. Cartwright thought he was fouled. And the foul called on the Celtics. This the scene at the end of the first overtime. Jordan able to hit, but it was waved off. Time had run out.
Good call by Mike Mathis, the official, right on the play. Caught a little bit of the light, heard the horn, saw the ball was still in his hand.
Seems to be some confusion as to who that last foul was called on. Kevin McHale in a discussion with the officials. If it's on McHale, it would be number 6.
This team on the floor right now for the Celtics, it's a good team to match up against Chicago with Bird as your power forward and McHale as the center right now. McHale not agreeing who the foul was on. It lets Lewis match up against Pippen. Good matchup there, and that's fine.
Mike, the officials being very compassionate as McHale continued the argument. He could be hit with a technical or a delay of game.
Let's get a look right here where the foul takes place. McHale saying that actually his contact came after Larry Bird's. The foul should have gone to perhaps Bird or someone else, but not me.
Well, Bird playing with 4, and McHale sitting down. He's fouled out. Jordan is 10 for 10. And then I see the disparity of the free throws. Chicago Bulls spending lots of time at the foul line.
Celtics have 13 more field goals this game than Chicago does, but Chicago, a team with a great deal of athleticism, gets to the rim, takes people off the dribble.
Ed Pinckney has come on, replacing Kevin McHale. McHale making the return from the sprained ankle. Finished with 10 points, 6 rebounds. Jordan continues his perfection at the line. He now has 34 points. That after a 7-point first half. Boston by 2. 2:40 to go in the second overtime. Bird with the fake through the foul and hits.
else in the building gave up on that shot, feeling, well, at least we got the whistle on the 2 free throws. Bird never gave up on the shot. After he released it, he hangs with it. He's still hanging with it. Yeah, I knew it was going.
And hits the free throw. 3-point play for Bird. Horace Grant called for the foul. Bird now has 32 points, along with 14 rebounds and 8 assists. 5-point Celtic lead. 2:20 to go. Second overtime. Bird stripped. Pippen on the recovery, and Shaw comes away with it. Here's Lewis. And he was fouled by Jordan.
In the transition defense that time, Pippen and Jordan got a little bit confused. Jordan thought Pippen was going to rotate out to stop the attack from the corner by Lewis. Instead, Pippen thought that Jordan was going to stop him. Jordan just takes the foul to stop the dunk.
Lewis now 2 for 3 from the line, an 84% free throw shooter.
Michael making sure he's not going to get a good shot at the basket.
Reggie Lewis pumping him up, did not take much time at the line.
As a result, a very good foul by Michael Jordan.
Bulls put the ball down by 5, just under 2 minutes to go in the second overtime. Jordan draws it, and he hits. Very friendly rims here at the Boston Garden.
Very similar to the play that Bird just completed at the other end. Once he got it up there, his concentration is so great, he honestly feels this thing is going in. He hangs with it, hangs with it. He's on the ground right now saying, I know this is going in.
Shaw called for his 4th. Jordan 12 for 12 from the line. He has 37, and the Bulls now within 2. Here's the reaction by Michael Jordan after he took the hit from Shaw. Minute 45 to go in the second overtime. Bird fires, yes!
Grant just kind of shook his head and said, this guy's too much.
34 for Bird. Boston by 4. Jordan off the triple team. And Bird on the rebound. The officials check it out. Last touch by Chicago, or was a foul call? It's a foul on Pippen. It will be Boston ball. Minute 27 left in the second overtime. And the chant of Larry. Lee Brown beat John Paxson off the pick. It's the Celtics by 6. And the Bulls take the timeout.
Larry Bird does so many things to help his team out by coming over, setting a good solid screen, and allowing his teammate to play pick and roll basketball. He hopes to free up D. Brown. Bird coming over, sets a good one, and right here as he catches Paxson, he needs a little bit of help, Paxson, from his teammate. Grant has to step out. Someone's got to protect that area. Instead, D. Brown turns the corner, gets in the paint, and converts, which is the biggest thing. Watch the elevation at the end as he goes up. Eyes on the rim with concentration.
D. Brown with 21 points. He's hit 10 out of 12 from the field. A number of remarkable performances here in what has been a terrific ball game between the Bulls and the Celtics. 1:10 to go, second overtime. Chicago with the ball down by 6. Yes, and it counts. John Paxson again. And Reggie Lewis called for the foul.
That whole play was set up by the defensive man going underneath the screen. Watch him go underneath. D. Brown goes under. Paxson stays behind the three-point line. Now the opportunity for perhaps a 4.
A most unusual play, the 4-pointer, as Paxson is connected on 5 out of 5 from downtown. It's a 2-point Boston lead. 57 seconds to go, second overtime. Brian Shaw right back. And it's Boston 133 and Chicago 129.
Larry Bird has been sensational. The Chief has been great. McHale has been good. But D. Brown and Shaw have knocked out big shots for the Celtics today.
Jordan not able to hit. Ed Pinckney able to fight his way off the board.
Got to get it over the half-court line before it's a 10-second violation.
He just did get it across. And we get the whistle. Shaw and Brown in a collision. Foul call on the Bulls.
Larry Bird realizes he's in trouble. He can't dribble it across. There's not enough time left. It's the pass that gets it there. 3 Celtics were trying to help out. 2 collide.
Foul on Paxson. Reggie Lewis to the line. He missed his last 2. And again, pumps it up. Not taking any time. Some advice from Brian Shaw. So he's missed his last 3 from the line. Boston 134. Chicago 129. Chicago has 1 timeout remaining. 3-point attempt by Pippen. That is his second of the day, second of the season. 2-point Celtic lead. Down to 15 seconds remaining. In the second overtime, Celtics give the foul. Jordan once again putting Lewis at the line.
And although Lewis has struggled the last couple of times that he stepped up there, he is an 84% free throw shooter on the season.
And he is now 3 for 7 at the foul line. Bulls have the 1 timeout remaining. 15 seconds to go in the second overtime. It's a 2-point lead. So the Bulls call for time. They're down by 3. When we come back, Chicago ball. They are out of timeouts. Thank you, Charlie. A stirring conclusion here in Boston. Second overtime, 15 seconds remaining. This the 3-point shooting. John Paxson 5 for 5. Scottie Pippen has been hitting the 3-pointer. Let's go to Ahmad Rashad.
All right, Marv, the strategy here is Michael Jordan will bring the ball down court. If he finds a lane, he'll take it to the hole. If not, he's going to try to get it to Paxson or Pippen on the wing.
And here's Jordan for 3. Gets it out for Jordan. Again for 3. Time running down. 0.5 of a second remaining in the second overtime, and that will do it. Celtics in double overtime and defeated the Chicago Bulls 135 to 132 in a wild one. They even up the season series at 2-2. The Bulls now 53-18, and Boston goes to 52-20. Today's Miller Genuine Draft Player of the Game, Larry Bird, with 34 points, 15 rebounds, and 8 assists. On behalf of Larry Bird, NBC and Miller Genuine Draft will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, Ahmad Rashad saying so long from Boston.